Trip Digital Radio Sound Art Expression, DJ Journey, Marquita Monet, and Catherine. How's it going, guys? We're back.
We're back. I would love to welcome a special guest who is top of the industry in the lighting game.
Woo!
Me as a photographer, welcome to season 3, guys. Yes. I would love to introduce David.
Thank you.
Parabolics.
Parabolics.
Let's
that name just sounds like light.
Parabolics, man. Taking over.
Okay.
Oh.
And nobody knows what a parabolic says.
Well, some people
Maybe.
do.
Some people. But
our customers do.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And I'm one of your customers.
Right.
You are one of the customers. You know what it is. Come on.
But the 7 continents need a little clarity, right, Catherine?
Absolutely.
So what exactly is Parabolics?
Parabolics is a lighting company that I started in 2015 to bring high-end parabolic lighting to an affordable price point, because previously it was not affordable to most people.
David, let's talk about the science of light.
The science of light. Okay, that's a pretty big topic. I talk about this at my lighting meetups. The science of lighting. I guess you start with the sun, and you want to try to mimic
that thing in the sky.
That thing up there, 93 million miles away. And you want to mimic the effect that the sun gives you, for example, in a studio environment, or where you don't have sunlight, or it's not controllable or anything like that.
And why the fuck is that important?
Nighttime.
That's important because that's the light that looks most natural to us all. You know, we're all trained to recognize sunlight as like the light, because that's the light that we see all of our lives.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, when you get into a studio environment and you're not using good equipment, you can have lighting that looks very synthetic and doesn't look real. It makes people look glossy and weird and
like our lights,
not very appealing.
So like to all the people that are like trying to take the
we look pretty good, though.
Yeah.
No, I look glossy every time on camera. I'm just a glossy dude.
I would say that
Some people are more glossy
pretty
than
good.
others.
Yes.
So, okay.
I power you up.
Sparkle is just right. Oh,
I didn't get any makeup.
okay, it's not about, okay, David.
Okay, so okay,
you.
just to like kind of finish that, whatever.
Right.
So sunlight produces the most even lighting that exists in the universe, basically.
So beautiful.
Right?
Nothing is as good as
sunlight.
that.
Exactly. Nothing is as good as sunlight. It's true. But there are kind of scientifically engineered tools that can mimic the beam of sunlight. And that's what a parabolic does. Yeah. It can mimic both the direct rays of sunlight, and it can also mimic the sunlight on a cloudy day, or sunlight in the shade, which is still very even, but not harsh and doesn't produce hard shadows. So that's what a parabolic does.
Let's see it. Because like,
does that make any sense to people?
That makes sense. I mean, because
I mean, it's really helping me. And then just learning even from Catherine, who happens to be a great photographer.
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you, Catherine, would you say that lighting is something that you really use, like for shoots that you may have that aren't outside during the day? Does that help you?
Crazy story.
Yeah.
I was sponsored by Broncolor, which is like the most.
David's like, whoa.
You're such a name dropper.
Yeah. I don't know who just dropped a name. Is it my co-host to the left of me?
Ferrari of lighting. And I
or the air on the right?
Don't speak badly of.
Okay, so.
No. They're the Ferrari of lighting.
No,
and
exactly.
They're a high-end brand.
And the modifier is a modifier. And like us as photographers will make like things like out of buckets and like we'll make it into a modifier. And for the people that don't know what a modifier is, it's the way we shape light.
Okay.
So whenever I met David, he really got down to the science of shaping light, hence the question. So what is a light shaper? And can we get a little,
gang or
what
is happening? It's like, do you feel excluded, Journey?
We're the light
like
shapers.
They have their own little language going on.
No, but we
That's
do it
all
with
right.
music.
Exactly. To our audience, what is a para?
Okay, a light. Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point. So lighting. Okay, so We will. Let's see it. In
I
1
love
second.
this right now.
So let's take a step back from. So I just spoke about the sunlight, right?
Okay.
The sun is kind of all in one thing. Sun plus clouds gives you nice soft lighting, etc.
Yes.
But now, when we're shooting in a studio, or we can't use the sun because
it's not out.
you can't rely on the
It's dark.
sun. That's why movie sets have big lights and all this stuff.
Right.
So you can't rely on the sun. So you got to reproduce it. Okay. So how do you do that? Well. So what are the tools? Well, you start with a source of light, which is a bulb, typically.
Yeah.
Okay.
These ring lights right here have little bulbs inside of them.
Uh-huh.
So you start with a little tiny source,
Mhm.
which could be like a light bulb,
Mhm.
or it could be like a strobe flash. That flash for photographers. But that is a tiny little source, right?
Mhm.
That alone is not generally enough to control a lighting environment in the studio, or even outside if you're trying to kind of like complement the sun or whatever.
Mhm.
So that tiny little source is not enough. So you need a shaper, a modifier to take that source and then project it properly onto your subject or subjects,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So you got the source,
Mhm.
which is a bulb. Let's call it just a light bulb, whatever. There are many different types. And then you have a modifier that's then going to modify that bulb source and spread it properly
Mhm.
in order to light, for example, a group of 3 people or 1 person, etc.
Me.
Or you.
I know. I
or
don't want to
us,
be
whatever.
vain. I
So
don't.
let's look at let's look at an
I
example
felt
of a
it.
modifier. This
Yes.
example,
Right.
I don't know. Throw
And
that to me or
And
whatever.
in working
Oh my
with
God.
us,
Okay.
That looks
This
something that they made
What do you
over in
think this is?
Hawthorne.
Okay.
this is a very small one.
Oh,
You
man.
Journey, don't talk for 5 minutes.
It
doesn't matter if you're the
just
lead.
wear it as a hat. Everybody, it looks like a hat.
Yeah,
Right?
it looked like
really
something that
cool
Buster
hat.
Rhymes wore in like his
Sorry.
1996 video.
That was a good year.
Dead ass. Journey does.
So in working with parabolics, what I've discovered, as David is showcasing, he has this really amazing focus system
Uh-huh.
that is able to focus the light.
Okay,
So
so
imagine it as like a telescope almost, that's like kind of
Yeah.
telescoping in. And then the materials that are used within that also has really great reflective properties that really brings out skin tones. It
Yeah.
softens skin tones. And it's,
What? Oh, wait.
you can have
Wow.
the filter on your iPhone, but when you're going pro, you have to have your right
Talk
tools.
to me, girl. Did you hear her, Journey? She said, but when you're
So
going
no
pro,
filter,
Yeah.
no filter.
Nice.
And then this
let
one
us
light
know who
blender
you are.
does the trick.
Okay,
So,
she's going to take
How
my
does
pictures.
how does it work?
okay, so this is an example of a modifier
The hat.
of one of our parabolics modifiers. This is the smallest one we make. This is a 20-inch.
Yeah.
Okay. We make them all the way up to 65 inches, which
Wow.
covers like.
Mhm.
I'm glad I brought this one and not that one.
Shaking up this whole room.
That would've been
The ones
so
I
funny.
was-
Okay. Exactly.
Go ahead.
So funny.
So this is the modifier. So like what I said, you start with a source.
Uh-huh.
The source is mounted inside the modifier.
Uh-huh.
You can also call this it's a type of umbrella as well.
Oh,
You know,
kind of,
with a
yeah.
very, with a very specific shape.
Okay, bad girl Riri.
So you put the source, the light bulb inside, and then because of the curvature of
David,
this,
do not give people ideas to just put one simple light bulb in
Okay.
there.
No, you can put a tungsten light
yes,
bulb.
you,
I can
you
put a-
can, but,
You
but
want?
let's
40
not give
watt
people
in there.
weird ideas.
Okay.
You wanna use-
I try not
this
to.
is
Do you want to
This
use
guy-
Try not
one
to.
of our
Absolutely.
audience members, one of our interns,
Can
to
people-
let them see how the light shines on them? Taylor and Mary. Look at Mary's just like, yes, I want to.
Well, I actually don't have a.
There's no like.
Yeah.
I don't have a.
Okay,
I don't have
not-
a source.
Not this time, Mary and Taylor.
There's barely
But
enough space for this.
So
just wanted you girls to know you're special.
So for everyone out there, let's see. So you can mount on the end of this little rod. You see that little rod inside?
yes.
Okay, so that's called the focus rod,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So you mount your bulb on the end of that, your
Mhm.
source, whatever it is, tungsten, HMI, LED, strobe,
Yeah.
anything.
Mhm.
And then because of the
Focusing system.
scientific shape of this, which is a parabolic,
The
Getting back to
parabolic.
parabolics.
Okay.
that produces a very, very even beam of light.
Yeah.
In which the light is very even. So it's not like harsher in the center.
It really shapes the subject.
And it produces a very even beam of light, just like the sun does.
Yeah.
So that's in a nutshell how that works. I mean, am I doing a good job here?
Yeah,
you are.
I mean, basically,
you guys are really enlightening me, and I love to hear the balance. Well, I love to hear the balance of the man and the woman. Like, I'm getting the clarity that I need from you, and I'm getting the feels that I need from Catherine, because I know she's conscious of that concern that we have in our femininity, like certain things that she's saying, just like, oh my God, this is going to be such a great vibe for my shoot.
Listen, I just shot an amazing celebrity today. She's in the new Batwoman show, CW, and I have been using the parabolic system all day long, and it just stands in my studio, and just people are. I mean, for like a show and tell, I put up different lights. I'll have like 6 different lights going on. Nothing's doing anything besides the and my blinds are pulled.
Wait. What are you saying? That you set up lights to confuse people?
No, just for the show. Like the industry, we have to do the show. Like,
the
Journey will be like in a session or anything, and like you have all these boards.
It's like having
things.
No,
they're off.
The peacocking, right?
Peacocking, yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, you're going to do that again?
Have the one light set up, and it's doing everything for me, and it's magic. And I call myself that one trick pony of that one light wonder. And literally, I can swing it this way and that way, and modify it in so different ways. And it's such a multi-purpose tool. And that, to me, is where I think you're really brilliant, and you've really brought something to this industry,
Thank you.
to the film industry, to the photo industry, that has been a really great problem solver.
Thank you very much. That I really appreciate that, because that is exactly what I wanted to do, was address a real issue in the industry and bring it to people. And by the way, you just mentioned one other technical thing about that. Like I was comparing the sunlight to, you get direct sunlight, and then when you get different types of clouds in the sky, you might get totally overcast. You might get a little bit of soft mist or whatever in the air. With that focusing rod system that I showed you in the middle, it goes back and forth. You can control the amount of softness or hardness that you get, just like the sun and the clouds behave together.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
It makes complete sense to me.
So that's another great benefit of a system like that. But yeah, thank you. I really appreciate hearing that, because that was my goal when I started this in 2015.
I love it.
Right.
15 there was a need for this type of system to be available to people, because previously there were high-end brands that only like big studios could afford.
Right.
And we're talking like entry price point of $5,000 and up.
Exactly. Like, stop it.
And so
there wasn't a tool.
There wasn't a tool like this that people like you and I could afford, but that type of system offers the best quality. So if you couldn't afford it back then, you couldn't get the quality that the pros had. I'm talking about the big time pros.
Or we see shot like in the magazines.
Exactly. Like you couldn't get the Vogue magazine
you're not going to
get it unless you had like
we can tell the difference.
Budget.
Exactly.
And I mean, you showed me some shots that were unedited with that 25-inch Octa.
Yeah, like
I was really impressed. Like that looked great right out of the camera.
Hey,
right?
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So
I gotta ask this question, Catherine. I must come in with this question right here, because it said it was created, David Parabolic, so it was created in 2015. Where did you come up with that name?
Well, like, it's a okay. So
I know it may seem simple, but just want to make sure.
So the mathematical term for the curvature of that thing that you just saw is called a parabolic.
Right. Parabolic. Yeah.
And that's geometry. It has very specific geometric properties.
Right.
Love it.
Okay.
And so is that David?
So is that David? And so do I. Exactly.
So you just named it David.
So parabolics, I just added an X, and I wanted people to think of the word parabolic, because that's actually a very important word for people who are in the technical business.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you guys have taught me. Like, I feel like
ask me a few more questions before we run out of time.
No, absolutely.
A couple more questions.
Journey,
maybe?
I think you have a really important one.
What's your next venture?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
is it
Good question. That's a great segue. We just moved into a new large studio in downtown LA, 1224 East 8th Street.
I love it.
It's 6,000 square feet.
Okay.
We have our lighting production there where we manufacture this. We have a show
Made in LA.
Made in LA, absolutely.
Woo!
100%. All of that stuff is made in our factory, in our production facility. So we have our production there. We have a showroom now there, a showroom where people can come in and all the products are on display. And we have a full photo studio that people will be able to rent out, fully furnished with all of our gear.
all the parabolic?
Wow.
And so basically photographers now in downtown, they'll be able to walk in with just their camera and we'll have everything for them set up.
Are you saying you're doing workshops again?
Yes, we absolutely.
So
Workshops is super important.
Where can we follow
I just one quick question before you say that, because we've got with all of the different packages, with the different shoots and what you're open, do you offer a variety of packages? Because I heard you talking about how people who didn't necessarily have the $5,000, would you offer packages even if it doesn't offer everything for like that person that's up and coming and just wants to do like a shoot and they like,
Absolutely.
I have $300 and I'm not even going to pay my light bill.
Right. No,
for my dream. I'm going to light candles.
The $5,000 price point was before we came around. That's what it costs for you to have that.
Correct.
Now it costs a few $100s.
So you have
to own that. Absolutely.
Aww.
Absolutely.
I love
that. That small one by itself is I don't even remember the price. I think it's $329.
Right.
For that one.
So there's different.
And we actually are going to come out with
little packages.
Even cheaper price points as well.
Right.
I think what's amazing is where
we want to make it affordable,
really
and
for everyone.
Yeah.
What's amazing is you've got this new space.
Yeah.
You're very focused on education, and we really want to know where can we follow Parabolics, on Instagram, and how can we keep up with your current events?
Absolutely. At Parabolics Light, Parabolax Light, LIGHT, at Parabolics Light or parabolicslight.com. And I haven't been posting anything this month because literally all I've been doing is moving stuff and like painting walls and staining the concrete floor.
All good. It's still in the bio, right? How they can contact you.
Absolutely.
That's the main thing.
At Parabolics Light, parabolicslight.com. Everything's made here in LA. Come visit our showroom. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. We look forward to it, and we will let everybody know to be there.
Exactly. I can't wait.
And last and final question.
We always ask this question on Trip Digital Radio, sound, art, and expression, because it's all about those three things.
Exactly.
But David,
yes,
got to tell us, what is your superpower?
What is my existing superpower, or the superpower I wish I had?
No, the one you
existing
have.
superpower.
And I have
I'll tell you. You want to know? You want to know what it is? You want to know what it is?
We want to know.
I do have one. It's patience.
Wow, you have supernatural patience.
And he pauses after that.
And I would add discipline as well.
Patience and discipline.
Those are my superpowers.
King David, stay in our lives.
I can believe it. I can believe it.
Are you kidding me right now? I feel the chills.
I can believe it. If you work with lighting, you have to have patience.
You have to have patience to create anything.
Yes.
Because it takes a very long time and a very long dedication. You have to be in it for the long haul.
And you have it.
Extreme patience.
Trip Digital Radio, sound, art, expression. Let's give it up for David. Parabolics Light.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. We'll be back.